Yes, hello to everybody. First, I want to thank the Fundación Germán Sánchez Ruy Pérez and, of course, IPDA Funde for the invitation to this event. As Luis said, I'm working for the Frankfurt Book Fair. I'm responsible for the Southern European and Latin American markets, and one of the other responsibilities is also working in this frame of the Aldus Up network, which Luis mentioned just before. And it's not only about audience development in that network, it's a network of European book fairs, and the focus lies on promotion of translation, changing reading habits, reading promotion, accessibility, inclusivity, and of course, audience development. And this leads me directly to the topic of this roundtable. And in these terms, I want to welcome these three colleagues that accompany me. Eva Orúe, director of the Feria del Libro de Madrid, which will open within 2 days.
Yeah.
And it's the 83rd book fair. Yeah. Not your 83rd, of course,
yeah.
But...
Approaching.
Approaching. On the other side of Juergen, there is Piero Crocenzi, CEO at the Salone del Libro di Torino, which took place very successfully some weeks ago.
Yes.
It was the 36th time, I guess.
36th edition.
And then Juergen Boix, CEO and director of the Frankfurt Book Fair, which is preparing now the 76th edition and takes place in October. We will talk in this roundtable about changes in our book fairs that have been taking place in the last years, and hear from these three experts on how they are adapting to market changes, market expectations also, and on how they look at new target groups, at young readers, people that probably are not yet at our book fairs or in a different way, and whatever they want to share with us. We will see. So, during the pandemic, which seems to be really far away now, there have been countless discussions on the future of book fairs. Because people started working online, and of course there is the possibility to save money and to not travel everywhere and so on. But in all these discussions, I think that we all strengthened that it was important to have this in-person meetings, if it's regarding the trading of rights, or if it's between the author and the publisher in your area. In the meantime, we can underline that our fairs have indeed confirmed that they are important in-person meeting places. What has changed for your fairs compared to the time before the pandemic?
Good morning, everybody. I hope that my English is going to work. I'm too tired already, so maybe not.
No problem.
I became director in 22, so just after the pandemics. The Madrid Book Fair in 21 was a closed one with doors, which is something that we don't have, doors. And I think that there is a change, but not in the way many predicted. We are growing a lot, which is curious. Being a commercial book fair, we are not a professional book fair, we don't have professional activities. We have professionals in there doing their business, but we do not organize those businesses. And being a commercial book fair owned by the booksellers. My bosses are the Madrid booksellers, and they have to have a guaranteed position in the book fair. in El Parque del Retiro. And everything is important, the booksellers and the park. So in 22, after the pandemic, we had 2 million visits in 17 days, which was a lot. It was my first book fair, and my colleagues told me, no problem, in Spanish, la gente tiene ganas de feria. The people from Madrid are hungry, they need the fair. And they came in big numbers. It was sunny, the weather is important for us, and we sold about 10 million euros books. Last year, it was rainy. 12 of the 17 days were rainy. 1 million something visitors, 11 million the bill, the final bill. That will come, my English, little by little. That means that the people who come, and they are very often the majority of the people in the book fair, just to have a look. They didn't come because it was raining, but the readers and the buyers came, again in big numbers. So the Madrid Book Fair technically is a local book fair, the Book Fair of Madrid. The booksellers are just from the Madrid community, but the publishers come from all over Spain. And there is a beautiful misunderstanding. Everybody thinks that we are an international book fair. Don't tell them. It's a secret. So every day a little bit more, there is people around the world coming just to have a look or asking for being there. And it's not possible for them to be there. Publishing houses from South America, for example. We have some that we invite, but 1, 2, 3 maximum. They cannot be exhibitors. So we are working on that, and keeping in mind always the fact that the booksellers are the owners, we are in a park, and we will come back to that because it's essential for us. We are in a park, we have a limited space, we keep growing. So for us, the difference is that we are much more in the same space, and with every time more people coming from around the world. This year we have, I think that 9 or 10 international delegations coming just to know how do we work in this park. So we are happy. You can come on Friday.
In the end, she will make a spoiler,
Yeah.
probably. Perhaps first Piero?
First, Piero? Okay, thanks. Thanks for the question. Yes, of course. Okay, I also have to say that I started managing Turin International Book Fair in 2019. So also for me, COVID was pretty close to the beginning of my path on doing that. And I think that COVID was something that changed a lot, because blocked the world for a few months, and a lot of people were wondering if a digital event or a web-based event could substitute physical one. We also, in May 2020, organized a digital event that were the last days of the lockdown, and a lot of people really were connecting to the internet, attending the event. So it was a successful event for the period. But now we see that the needs to be together it's overgiving everything. So we are not using in the same way probably the technology, but we can use technology to support the physical event. We use technology to manage queues to the room entrance, so it's easier to get access in a speaker room. We use technology to manage agendas in our small right center. So probably COVID pushed us to integrate technology in the event managing. This is what I can say from the Turin side.
Okay.
I think what we heard before in the previous session was all about curiosity and getting back to the old technology of reading and listening. And I do believe personally that's what book fairs stand for. You have so many events, We are not comparable, yeah? It's very different book fairs. But again, it's about author, storytelling, readers, booksellers, publishers, translators. It's about the people behind everything. Yeah? And I think these people are the technology, actually. During the pandemic, and all three of us are not commercial institutions. Yeah. You're owned by the booksellers, you're owned also by the city of Turin, I think.
Yes, Turin, and also
foundation.
Foundation no more, but there is city and region, and there is a private side.
And this makes a big difference, yeah, because we are driven by being close to the authors and the readers, both parties. Richard Juergen is sitting back there. He once told me, me as a publisher, he told me, who's our customer? When I said I was naive, I said the reader. No, he said the author. Yeah, you have to work with both sides. Yeah, it's both sides, and that's what we understood. And my very first book fair experience, and I'm sorry to say, it was in 1976 when my uncle took me to Frankfurt. And I think since 1976, I nearly attended every book fair, and every book fair was very, very different from the one before. So we had to reinvent. Now in this function, we had to reinvent ourselves all the time. Yes, we had the crisis, but we survived it because we focused on the readers and the authors.
Yeah, okay. I mean, of course, we have to reinvent every year. We have to react to the market needs, and the author is our customer, but we need to sell also spaces to the exhibitors, and these are not the authors. Well, self-publishing is coming around, but we have a lot of publishers also. But again, what specific innovations did you introduce, or are you planning to introduce at your fairs? I mean, in Madrid, you are having new alliances with different companies. There are projects coming along. Torino does events outside the book fair and also at other moments of the year. In Frankfurt, we have some plans to introduce a new pavilion directed to a special target group. So what kind of innovations are you really installing or launching within your fairs? Eva?
We all need money, right? So we have to maintain the essence of the fair, which is, I insist, a commercial book fair. We have been running for 83 editions, and we are as all the Spanish book fairs are. Friday, Madrid begins, but also begins Zaragoza and Valladolid, and we are kind of a big fair, all of we. So we charge the exhibitors, of course, with different tariffs, depending on if you are a bookseller or a publisher from Madrid or abroad or an institution, whatever. Then we have subsidies from the two local administrations, the City Council and the Madrid community, and some help from the Ministry of Culture in a different way, but they all help us. But still we need money. With the money that we receive from the exhibitors and some of the institutions, we can put the stands for the exhibitors. That's it. But we cannot do what I call the La Feria Bonita, the beautiful fair. So we are going to organize this year more than 325 activities. And when I talk about activities, I'm talking about presentations, roundtables, panels, but also concerts, music, theater, everything in small amounts, again, the park. If you come on Friday, or if you know the fair, you are for sure understanding what I'm talking about. So we need the private sponsors. We have 4 big sponsors, which are Iberia, the CaixaBank, an institution which helps us to be on the shadow because we have, how do you say that in English? Toldos. To protect us, not
Tents.
umbrellas, but
Okay.
because it's
Tents.
very hot, very sunny. And then we have this year Repsol, which is an energy company. How do we work with them? Well, obviously, to have their logo in the feria is not enough, even if we have a lot of visitors. So we try to work our contents with them. Two examples. Iberia has a program called Talent on Board, which they run the whole year, and we are going to do a stand called like this, and we are going to mix Spanish and people from Latin America to talk about publishing and writing with one foot here and the other one on the other side of the ocean. And with Repsol, which is an energy company, they are helping us to be better in the Retiro. How they do that? For example, we need to generate electric generators because in the Retiro we don't have light in our part of the park. So we need 2 big machines to give us the light, the power supply. And they are going to give us fuel, don't ask me technical explanations, but done from oil, home oil, the one that we use for the fried eggs. And they do something with that, and that works. And this year we are going to open one night, which is not usual, and we need light. So they are going to put solar energy panels in order to illuminate these small stages with solar energy. We need expertise to do better, and we don't have this expertise. The team is very small, and we know and not a lot about books, publishers, and booksellers. So we need these people to help us to improve. This sometimes creates some quacks because people think, what are they doing? Why are they going to work with this or this one? But usually we ask for money, obviously, but we ask also for this expertise that can help us to improve our way of working in the park.
Great. Juergen?
I actually don't know where to start because you see, Frankfurt is the most international book fair, and it's been around not only for 70 but 500 years. Yeah, in one way or the other. The first documents we have go back to 1430. Printing started after the book fair started, which is quite interesting in this aspect. So there always was a marketplace in Frankfurt, and I like this, the history, because it was a marketplace about selling manuscripts. It was a marketplace, but also 500 years ago for political discussions, yeah, because the book fair had to leave its home city, Mainz, because of the censorship of the bishop, and they went to Frankfurt, to the city of the emperor, which was a city of trade, yeah, like Torino, very good example. And though the money went anyway from Lyon to Torino to Frankfurt to Prague, and the books followed the money. So what I wanted to say, it's about money, it's about culture, and it's about politics. And Frankfurt has to cater on all these levels. And if you think business in our industry, it's the international B2B community. And then we have to focus, and what's most important to the B2B community, it's the rights trade right now. So we are focusing a lot, technology-wise, on the rights trade with Frankfurt Rights, but also our rights marketplace is increasing every year. 10%, 15%, increasing every year, because we have so many new players coming in. We have the streaming services, we have the Netflixes of this world, we have the gaming people looking for content urgently on both levels, the huge corporate gaming companies, but also on a small level. Film industry, and actually we copied that from Torino 20 years ago. You were the first ones to have a film rights marketplace. And now we are working together on these topics, which is very nice. So there's a lot of more rights to be sold and bought, and this is happening, also language-wise, whatever, yeah? The AI people are looking for content, and we're going to sue them anyways, yeah? They're not getting our content, but we'll have to see how this works out. And on the reader side, in the past 2 years, we've seen a massive change that the readers in Germany went from a normal reader to a fan. We have a completely new community in Frankfurt on the weekend when the B2B part is over. And this is somehow wonderful. On the other hand, it's worrying. We never had so many people on the fairground. We never had so much security on the fairground. And this is going to be this year a big challenge for us as well. It's good to have a lot of young people looking into books, and which brings us back to the previous session. How do we read? What about deep reading, Ljubljana Manifesto, you know, all these claims. We have to really think about what's happening right now with reading. It's even more important than ever. We have to start a lot earlier, but we also have to teach people not only the ability to read, but how to read. And this is also a function of our book fairs. So we have so many different functions, and I'm talking way too much. Piero.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. The Turin Book Fair is completely different from Frankfurt because it's a trade fair. It's a B2C event. So we used to improve our security to do that to host a lot of people. But I think that as a trade fair organizer, it's really important not only to be focused on the 5 days of the fair. I think that it's important also to work on the other days of the year to take a discussion with the community, to use technology to understand what are our community needs, to try to give back some answers to them. This is our first way to take our visitors close to the fair. We really think that it's really important to work on different fields during the year because it's not opening gates and hosting people. So in the other end, we work on field. We try to organize small events in different cities, in different regions. And during the year, the Turin International Book Fair organizes, I think, 10 different events in 4 different regions in Italy. And this is another way to reach people, to explain them that books are important, reading is important. And last but not the least, of course, for us it's really important our relationship with the world of the school. We develop a lot of projects for students. We have 4 main projects that work inside schools for the whole year. And we started our discussion from talking about COVID. And I use that to say that during COVID, we had a support to host some students, but we could not build up the fair, so we could not bring students into the fair. And we decided to use this money to republish a great literature classic. And we also asked to some contemporary authors to produce some podcasts and some video lessons. So we were able to join book with different languages, and we built a concrete training project for students. Now we are in our 4th edition of this project. We give to students from 6,000 up to 7,500 books, podcasts. So all the schools that applies receive at the school, not at home, a box with books, and they can download podcasts. And for us, this is important because in this way, students do not arrive in Turin just to have a visit, but they arrive in our fair to finalize a path, to have a closing moment or to have a starting moment of something that they can do during the whole year.
Yeah, I think that this is interesting because we are all a little bit pushed to do things outside the fair. We feel the need to do it because if you show up for 17 days, in our case, and then you disappear, the power of the Madrid Book Fair disappears as well. So we need we feel the need of doing something for the city that gives us so much. On the other side, the sponsors ask us to be present the whole year. Yeah, for us being a commercial book fair, and we cannot organize a commercial book fair every month, it's difficult to do that, but we are doing it. And we are doing it, and all the festivals in Madrid are doing it, and all the festivals in Spain, so every day we feel the pressure. Sometimes you have to say, hey, stop, we need to work for the fair, which is going to begin the last Friday of May. But
you
it's not
just
easy.
told us that every Tuesday you present a film.
This is just the month of May, but we do a program called, in Spanish sounds better, El Vaivén de la Feria, and the word explains what are we doing. Vaivén is the swing of the feria, but that means va, go, and ven, come. So we go to schools, different places where are people that are not coming to the fair and even not reading. We visit them with programs, with activities, and then we receive them in the fair. And this is beautiful. We receive the kids and the old and the I don't know if it is a correct word in English right now, handicapped, I'm sorry. They come to the fair, we receive them as if they were the president of the government, we show them the fair, and then we organize something for them. And it's beautiful to see their reaction. But this asks us for a bigger effort. And we are still 5, 6 people working the whole day, the whole year for the fair.
I still meet people.
That's why my English is not fluent, because my head is not working properly.
I still meet people who ask me what I'm doing the rest of the year. So
Yeah.
Yes, yes. This is a common question,
Yeah.
also in Italy.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
5 days book fair.
But
Yeah.
what Eva's been saying, it's quite important because we have to pick our fights. We cannot
Yeah.
do everything, yeah?
No.
And there's a lot of expectation by the audience and our stakeholders. Be present all year round. We cannot do that all year round. You cover 3 regions in Italy where you go to. You cannot be everywhere. So we really have to pick our fights, and actually we have to support each other. And it's good that we have this network, and I think this is very important that we can learn from each other and exchange a lot of ideas wherever it is possible. I like this film idea, so I'm going to steal it, but I'm going to ask first. Yeah, but yeah,
But only in the month
May.
before the fair.
Yeah.
So it's only May in her case.
Give me time.
Yeah.
We are going to do a festival the whole year round.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we are going to have a meeting with some officials during my stay here, and I want to create more networks, European networks of book fairs. Yeah, so we can improve in sharing our experiences, but also what we talked about book-to-film activities.
Yes.
It would be nice to have more Italian producers in Frankfurt and the other way around. So we have to work together because we all have our experiences and niches.
Just created a web of Spanish book fairs. We are 30 right now.
Yeah.
It's not very formal. It's just directors talking about director things, which are not very interesting, generally speaking. Booths, water supply, electricity supply, things like this. Every time someone tells me, it's very glamorous what you do.
It's not glamorous.
Well, not exactly.
We do the same thing. So I'm meeting several times a year with the people who do the chemistry fairs.
Yeah.
And actually I can learn from them as well, because their community is also very, very international. It's not as funny as ours. Are we funny? Sometimes we are more.
Are you
Not
going
really.
to football matches?
No.
Yeah, you did.
Well,
Yeah.
we did
The football thing.
with the
Yeah,
gastronomy.
but not me.
Yeah. So now we are doing that.
Okay, cool.
This is what we
Madrid-
have learned
Madrid,
from Frankfurt.
Yeah. Well, this leads me to another question. What concerns you at this special moment? So what is your biggest challenge concerning the next fair? Of course, Eva, if you
Arrive.
think of the arrive
alive.
until the opening. Survive the next 2 days.
Yeah.
But what is the biggest challenge that you face?
I will say that it's not to have every year more people coming in, but we cannot limit the presence of people because we don't have doors.
But in 21 you had doors, no?
Just because of the pandemics. To give satisfaction to everybody, which is not easy, to work properly in the park. I keep talking about the park, because this year our booths are separated because there is a branch growing. We cannot touch the trees. So when we think about the fair and we begin the process, we don't know how many booths we are going to have. And when we have this number in our heads, then we have to go to the park and ask the park. And then we see a branch that is going, and we have to separate booths or stands or things like this. At the end, we talk very little about books and authors and literature and high culture. My life is water supplies, power supplies, magnolias, and other, and other trees. For example, we are very proud because until this year, every exhibitor could come inside the park, which was a big exception, with his or her own car. And this year, we have reduced this number. We used to put every morning around 200 cars coming into the park and going out with boxes or computers or whatever. This year, we are doing around 25 every day, which is big. Probably not for you, and probably not for the people that are going to visit us, because they don't know, but for us, it's very important. And then very small things, like what do we do with the boxes or with the plastic in the park? So my life is being in good relationship with the culture department. I'm seeing some people here, so let me not talk a lot about that. Environment and patrimonio, heritage. We have to talk with all three administrations. We are culture, we are in a park, and we are in a historic site. Every time we think about doing something, I have to ask all the three. And sometimes they are not easy to deal with.
Yes.
Juergen?
Yeah, I think sustainability is a big issue for us as well, I think for everybody here. And there's a new reporting coming up from Brussels, and it's getting very complicated anyway. So it's a lot of bureaucracy behind it. But since Frankfurt is so international, we also have to deal with all these challenges of our industry. I was in Paris last week only talking about the second-hand book market, which has a big influence on the industry and the square meters the people are buying in Frankfurt. Yeah. When I was in New York earlier this year, we were only talking about book ban, which is a big issue, yeah, that the book gets censored in public libraries. When I'm talking to our people, we have a big issue with self-censorship in Germany right now, because we are all at political stages as well. And people do not dare to speak up, because whatever you say, you get into trouble. And that's a big issue for a book fair. If you cannot have a book fair as a safe space, so that's another big issue for us. And then again, the reader turning into a fan, it's wonderful, but it's very challenging. So it's on so many, many different levels what's happening, and we have to deal with, all of us.
Yeah. I think that our biggest challenge is around young people. We are using a lot of energy to involve them, as I told you before. For us, it's important to develop projects for youngs. Of course, we work with the school, but we also would like to change our language to them. We are trying to promote some sector in the publishing market that were not so valorized before, as sports, comics, romance. Now it's attracting a lot of young people, and we also understand that it works. I don't want knowing people using numbers, but for example, if we develop some projects for school, we have a good redemption from that region in Salone. For the main public, we have a redemption that it's more in the region near Piemonte, of course. When we talk to school, it's easier to have students from region far away from Turin, but that are active that react to our project. So it means that the two things are connected. And we really think that it's important to build up the visitor of tomorrow, the readers of tomorrow for the fair. Because working on youngs, you can be sure that you will have also a future with them.
If may I add something?
Of course.
Because when I talk, sometimes I think that I'm just a gardener, and I'm not. For the Madrid Book Fair, and generally speaking, from the Spanish book fairs, I'm not talking in behalf of them, but I know a lot of people. Madrid is a small miracle. Being the fair of the booksellers, we have distributors selling there, and editors selling there, and institutions selling there. So keeping the good, how will you say buen rollo in English?
Good vibe, good mood,
yeah.
mood, yeah.
So this
Atmosphere.
is, yeah, we have to work for that. 3 sectors: booksellers, publishers, distribution, working together.
One association for all of them.
Without buen rollo, it doesn't work.
Yeah, but we have the same
Yeah.
in Germany and everywhere, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All of you use a slogan, not since every time, but you, Eva, started last year with science.
First year, travel, not trouble, but travel.
Travel.
Last year, science.
Science,
And
and
this
now
year,
sports.
sports.
Juergen, we had 2 years ago Translate, Transfer, Transform. Last year we celebrated the 75th book fair, saying that the story goes on. And this year we have reading.
Reading with an exclamation mark, yeah. Because I had some discussions with our friends in Leipzig, at the other large book fair in Germany, because they asked the question, who is still reading? And tried to answer it by having a very successful book fair. We don't question these things. We say, reading, yeah, we have to read. And this brings us back to the previous session. Again, it's all about the way we read, yeah, and what we want to understand and how we can accept it, that reading is, it's not only entertainment, yeah, it's part of our life.
Yeah, and in Torino had Imaginary.
Yes, it was the title of the last edition. We had a different title every single year, and it was the imaginary life. So what can be around life, not concretely, but something that we can imagine and move and stuff like that.
Okay, I was wondering if it's also a kind of idea to attract special groups of people, like in the relation to sports, to have another audience coming to the fair, trying to meet soccer players or
No,
whoever.
no.
But
Not
you have
soccer
also the
players, no.
Paralympics and things like that. So audience development is one of the questions here. Do you use these slogans also to engage other people?
Yeah, the slogan this year is Entrena tu mente, train your mind, lee tu cuerpo, read your body. The idea is that sport may be also culture, and that sport is a big metaphor of life.
Now that the Ministry of Culture is not longer together with sports.
But what can we do with the sport? So put together Mariana Enriquez and Richard Ford to talk about sport. Put together Lionel River and Sergio del Molino talking about my English is running away, el culto al cuerpo, so the body
Body culture.
Yeah, body culture. So you can do a lot of things. at the end, the slogan or the motto is just an excuse. And you can work with a lot of things. But we have a very beautiful thing, is that this year, the Olympic Committee and the Paralympic Committee are coming. We are going to have not soccer players, not even basketball players, but a lot of people, Spanish sportsmen and women who have been in the Olympics and have medals. Teresa Perales, Fermín Cacho, Lidia Valentín, they are going to come and talk about books. And we are going to do demonstrations, judo, tennis, ping pong. I have an age, not 83, but, and I say, and for me it's ping pong, tenis de mesa, no, ping pong.
Ping pong.
So ping pong. And the kids are going to play, and I hope that I'm going to play as well. At the end, playing is part of the fun.
Marifé always scares me with her football plans. Yeah. I think it's a young community, it's a very interesting community, and I think we have to cater to the needs, and we can use football to promote reading, yes. And there might be a lot of other stakeholders. But if I have to talk once more with the UEFA president for half an hour, and I don't have a clue about football, this is really difficult for me. Yeah, but the question is, yes, we have to form as many partnerships as possible where we have somebody who's also reaching out to a young community.
Yeah. Okay. Are there questions from the audience? No?
No time.
Louis
Yeah,
says that no time. No, I didn't hear any sign, so I think that I can go on. Is there something that you want to share with the audience, now or never?
Luis had said,
yeah, I know, but one last...
Thank you for helping and listening, and please come.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward.
Yeah.
Friday
I'm
11
Friday.
is the opening, so you're all invited.
I'm really glad to be representing Salone Libro di Torino, and I wish all the best to Eva for the Madrid Book Fair. I will attend it. I will be there.
For managing the park. Okay. Thank you very much.
Muchas
Thank
gracias.
you.